Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm James, an everyday cook, and today we are making stuffed mushrooms. One of my favorites for an appetizer. I even make them for dinner sometimes. But before I show you how to make them, make sure you like this video, share with all your friends and family, subscribe, and then click the notification bell so you can come cook with me again. Okay, so before we get started with our stuffed mushrooms, I'm gonna go over the ingredients that we need. Obviously, remember mise en place, everything in its place. We're getting all of our ingredients ready so we can have a streamlined cooking process, makes it less stressful for us, and then we make sure we have all our ingredients in line as well. So I have some sausage that I pre-cooked and then just kind of chopped up slightly because we are stuffing mushrooms. You have to be cognizant of what you're stuffing your mushrooms with as far as size. I have about a quarter cup of cheddar cheese. I have some breadcrumbs. I have some baby Bella mushrooms, cream cheese, and a little bit of garlic powder, and then some Parmesan cheese. And really the only tool that we're gonna be using is a spatula and my favorite, microplane. So first we're gonna prep our mushrooms. So what I do is just take the stem off, and they sell stuffing mushrooms at the store. They sell baby Bellas. You could use white mushrooms. These are actually a really nice size. So we were using these. I did make these earlier in the week, and there were some small ones, there were some big ones, and I just stuffed them all. And honestly, the small ones I just ate as I was like prepping them and after they were made, and you couldn't tell any were missing. Shh, I won't tell anybody. All right, so we're gonna make about a dozen. This is a great appetizer for like a charcuterie board if you want to have something a little bit more savory. I'm actually making a couple recipes today. It's a little hot in the kitchen, so my best friends are coming down from Jacksonville, where I used to live, and I'm making kind of an Italian-themed lunch for them, some of their favorite recipes. They love these stuffed mushrooms. I'm making bread pudding, risotto balls, so I think they're gonna like it. And depending on how many mushrooms you want to make, obviously you can increase the quantities of your ingredients. But for the three of us, I think a dozen are going to be good. So I'm just taking the stems out, wiping the outside of the mushrooms with a damp towel. One of the great things about stuffed mushrooms that I've actually done is I have swapped out the meats and the cheeses for this. So this is really versatile. I used chorizo last time with like a Mexican blend cheese. I'm sure any kind of cheese you like would work fine. You don't even have to put meat in it. You can just do it vegetarian. Up to you, what you like. Another great thing about this recipe, it's kind of like a one pan situation. So the pan that we cook the sausage in is the pan that we are going to bake the stuffed mushrooms in. And what's nice is all that residual fat and flavor from the bottom of the pan is kind of add to the stuffed mushrooms. So it's kind of less cleanup for us, since I'm the only one that does dishes on this channel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we might do 15. Let's see how it goes. We might not have enough filling, but we're everyday cooks. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. I'll use those mushrooms for my other recipe for today. And then with this, I have 8 ounces of cream cheese. It is softened. Well, I thought with all the heat in the kitchen it'd be a little softer, so I'm gonna throw it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. Bear with me. While that's in the microwave, this is the pan that I use to cook the sausage in. It's a Dutch oven skillet. It's really great for being on the stove and the oven, so look at all those great little bits that are in there. That's gonna add a lot of flavor to our stuffed mushrooms. So sausage was cooked in this, and then we're gonna bake our mushrooms in this pan. And at the end, I only have to clean one pot. Kind of nice. Okay. So did that for 30 seconds, and it did loosen that up, so that's perfect. Yum, yum, yum. I love the tanginess of the cream cheese with the meatiness of the mushrooms. And then again, whatever flavor you add to it, it's just gonna be absolutely perfect. And these are so quick and easy. They bake in the oven, so if you're throwing a dinner party, you can do whatever you need to do on the stove, or just kind of frees up another section of your kitchen. Okay. So I'm gonna add the cheddar cheese. I poured garlic salt in this little container just to kind of be fancy, but honestly, I'm just gonna do like a quarter of a teaspoon. You don't need much. All right. And then since we have the cheese and the sausage, I'm not adding any salt to this. I don't want a salt bomb. I want everything to be nice and flavorful, but I do love black pepper. You'll see this. It's a recurring thing. I love black pepper. And then our sausage. And this is a half of a log of sausage. I'm gonna make sausage biscuits and gravy tomorrow, so I saved the rest of that sausage for that recipe. And that's a good breakfast to me. All right, so I'm gonna stir this up. It smells so good. Yum, yum, yum. I'm actually gonna taste this just to make sure it is good to go. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more garlic powder. So about a half a teaspoon at this point. And a little bit more black pepper. It does not need salt. It does not need salt. Our mascot Maggie's right behind me trying to see if she can find something to eat. See if any crumbs fell. Not today, Mags. Not today. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. So that's about good. And then, to fill our mushrooms, you have two options. Being a pastry chef, I have a ton of pastry bags. So if you have a pastry bag, perfect, it works great. If you don't, you can always use a quart-sized freezer bag. If you use a regular sandwich bag, it's likely to pop because the seams aren't that strong, but freezer bags are a little bit stronger. What I do is I just kind of churn it out, and that's one of my chefy tips. Can we just pause for a second? So anytime you're trying to fill a pastry bag or a bag for fillings or whatever the case may be, I always turn it inside out a little bit on the top, so that way the mess doesn't get on the zipper of the bag, and it's just a little bit easier to control. I kind of put my hand underneath it, and you can just fill it a lot simpler. Some people put it in a glass. That works too. That's just one of my chefy tips from the past. But we are going to use a pastry bag. Okay. And we're going to put this filling in. And I kind of push it down when I'm packing in the bag. I'm going to not use all this. We can freeze this, so I'm going to make mushrooms in the future. And then what I do is I kind of really twist the top of this bag and hold it taut. And this is going to allow you to apply the pressure to stuff the mushrooms. And all right, so since we have mushroom and cheese in there, I'm actually going to cut this rather far back so there's no like hiccups when you're trying to pipe it in the mushrooms. All right, so again, you remember I'm twisting this bag to hold it really taut, and you see it's already pressing out the filling. So we're just gonna fill these guys as full as you want. I've only done them to like where the rim stops the mushrooms, but I like a lot of filling. And honestly, this filling is not gonna go anywhere when you bake these in the oven. It kind of stays in place, especially with what we're gonna put on top. Okay. So continue to fill these. This is watering. I love these mushrooms so much. I'm using a pastry bag. So again, I'm twisting it, keeping it taut so it doesn't come out the backside. Look at that. Enough filling for 15 of these mushrooms. We have a little bit, but... And I always really squeeze the rest of it out. I don't like to waste, so if you can save all that, we can use that for another time. Okay. And then to top these off, I have some panko. That's gonna make it crispy, golden brown. I didn't add any salt, I didn't add any butter, just plain panko. We have enough flavor in the filling for this, so I just top these. As you see, it's nice and pretty. Kind of pats down the filling and compacts it into the mushroom, which is nice. Yum. And if there's a side where it's like more filling on the other, I kind of like press that down to kind of even it out just a tad. I know these would be a household favorite, and I haven't made these in a few years, but I made these 2 weeks ago, and I think I've made them every week since. They're so good. And again, they're great for parties, little appetizers. Even do this with a portobello mushroom and just make a meal out of it. I think it'd be awesome. So the last part is Parmesan cheese. And that's why I didn't add any salt to the panko, because this Parmesan cheese is going to add some saltiness to it. So good. Yum, look at that Parmesan cheese. Okay. So remember, we have our pan that we cooked the sausage in. We're going to use that to bake these mushrooms. So just line these up in the pot. You can use a sheet tray, you know, casserole dish, whatever you have on hand. But having that grease on the bottom of the pan from the sausage is going to make these super golden brown, not only on top, but on the bottom. So it's some really nice flavor in there. Okay. So I'm going to bake these at 375 for about 20 minutes. Sometimes I turn on the broiler just to kind of get a little bit more golden brown on the tops of them, and then we'll be back to try these. Okay, so our mushrooms have been in the oven for a good while, 20-25 minutes, and then I turn the broiler on for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how golden brown you want them. So let's get them out of the oven. Oh, these look so good. Remember, we cooked them in the same pot that we did the sausage for the filling, so that added some nice flavor to the bottom of the mushrooms. Close that up. These look delicious. They're very hot, so I'm using just a small offset spatula. If you don't have one, you can use a fork, whatever. But I will put these on our serving platter. Again, these are great for a party. They can be warm, they can be room temp. Yummy, yummy. Remember, we have the sausage, the cheddar cheese, the cream cheese, the breadcrumbs, and then also the Parmesan cheese on top. As you can see, the cheese didn't go everywhere. Some of these stuck, but that's okay. We're everyday cooks, right? Make it work. Awesome. Put that to the side. And there you have it. Stuffed mushrooms. Perfect for any party. And try one. Come cook with me again. See you next time.